Hello everyone, for today's video I have a false Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Blue 2, Ultra Super Saiyan Blue, Fake Super Saiyan Blue, False Super Saiyan Blue 2, or whatever it's called. I'm doing a moveset based on Trunks' new transformation, which at the moment it doesn't have a name. I have a feeling that it will be named when it gets introduced to Dragon Ball Heroes, whenever that will be. So this moveset was suggested by DBS Black Goku Rose, so if you have any moveset theme suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments and the most interesting ones will be used for future videos. And of course, if you do enjoy these videos, please leave a like. Going into this moveset, it's unique, let's just say that. So for our supers, we've got Burst Kamehameha, Earth Splitting Gallic Gun, Final Blow and Super God Fist, Final Explosion and Dragon Fist as our ultimates, Super Saiyan 3 or Potential Unleashed as our transformation, and Force Shield as our evasive. Now I don't really remember Trunks using Dragon Fist, Final Explosion, Burst Kamehameha or Final Blow in the series, but I do think this moveset is interesting, so let's get into the moves. Burst Kamehameha and Earth Splitting Gallic Gun are two very good super attacks. Personally, I would prefer the Earth Splitting Gallic Gun just because it's faster, and if you're going to use Burst Kamehameha, realistically you're going to use 2 bars of ki rather than 1. So it just makes sense to me to pick Earth Splitting Gallic Gun over Burst Kamehameha. Kind of the same deal for Final Blow and Super God Fist, to be honest. They're both strike attacks, they both just take 1 bar of ki, and they both have short range. But Super God Fist is faster, so much like the Earth Splitting Gallic Gun, I'd prefer Super God Fist over Final Blow. Force Shield it's not really the best evasive. The only benefit Force Shield has is that it sends your opponent flying back. But if that's the strategy you're going for, Energy Barrier by Perfect Cell is just much better in my opinion. Like I've already said, Trunks never used Dragon Fist or Final Explosion, but they're two of the strongest ultimate attacks in the game. Dragon Fist is excellent to combo into, and Final Explosion, like I've already said it does a lot of damage, but realistically you're not going to be able to pull it off. I mean, sure, you can use Final Explosion to hit your opponent if you use the triangle stamina break to send them flying down, and then use it immediately, but the only problem with that is if somehow they get up fast enough, they can use anything such as a basic ki blast to hit you to cancel you out of the Final Explosion if you haven't activated it yet. And secondly, if your opponent isn't near the floor when you use the triangle stamina break to send them flying down, the range of Final Explosion is huge, but it's not big enough to really cover the entire map, so you do need to be careful there, and I just think that's a very specific situation to use it in. So maybe consider replacing Final Explosion with Final Kamehameha on this moveset, because with Final Kamehameha it just presents more combo opportunities. So as we go into the first fight, my opponent picks Goku, and I'm picking Kami's Lookout because I haven't really used this stage that much so far, so I might as well use it every once in a while. So you're going to realise that this match was pretty laggy in some places. You just saw there he vanished and I didn't hit him fast enough. But there's going to be a lot of situations in this fight where he does vanish and I predict it and I do actually hit him, but he still step vanishes back and he just doesn't register because the connection wasn't the best here for some reason. So this guy was very hard to work out and to try and pin down any patterns he may have. I mean, in a moment he's going to step vanish back but then go for the aura burst, which will waste 1 bar of stamina, so unless that was a misclick, I don't know. My biggest obstacle in this fight was just to work out when he's going to vanish and how he uses his stamina, and this guy was very weird in that sense, and to an extent it felt like his vanishing and how he used his stamina was completely random, which if that was intentional on his end, then that's perfect for him because that's going to force me to work 10 times harder. So here he's going to vanish, which is perfect for me. Then before he could step vanish back, I decided to use Super God Fist because even though it does have a very short range, it is very fast. So if I was quick enough, which I was, I could have used it to hit him before he had a chance to back vanish. So you just saw there, he turned Super Saiyan 3 and now I do. But when he did turn Super Saiyan 3, I used the Harmony Dash to break his guard, and I wish I didn't do that because now he's got pretty much full stamina. I've said this before and I should probably start doing it myself. If the opportunity arises to break your opponent's guard and they already have low stamina, don't do it unless you know 100% that you can finish them off before they get the stamina reset. Because if not, then they're going to get a full bar of stamina back. Granted, they'll take some damage, but if the fight's been going on for a long while, like maybe 2 minutes, then you probably won't have that much stamina yourself, so you're going to be putting yourself at a disadvantage. Now, I'd say that this is where the turning point of the fight is, because you just saw there, he went for the basic combo. I think it was Goku's basic heavy combo, and he used 1 bar of stamina to continue it, but because of how bad the connection is, I just fell out of the combo. Now granted, the connection isn't terrible, but it's certainly not the best. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, there's less than a minute left, we both have equal stamina, ki and health pretty pretty much I need to do some serious damage on him. So I hit him, he vanishes, I expect him to do it, then I turn around and hit him with the Dragon Fist. So now I'm thinking that that's perfect, but I do need to be careful now because it is Goku. He's one of the best cast characters in the game. He's got low health, he's in Super Saiyan 3, he does have a Zenkai boost now, and it just sucks for him there because the only real way he could beat me now would be if he goes for the Dragon Fist and it hits, because I simply wouldn't be able to use my evasive to escape it, and I think he realises this, hence why he dropped out to Super Saiyan 3, but sadly for him there's just not going to be enough time to really recover that much ki and to try and hit me with it. So after the clash I do go for the final blow because I don't think I've used it in this fight so far, so I'm thinking okay, he's probably not going to be expecting it. He evades it because of course he does. I get 2 perfect blocks off there, then I get him in a throw and that's going to be enough to put him away. That was a very fun and a very intense first fight, so with that being said, let's move on to the next fight. So in the next fight I scan my opponent's moves to begin with, and he's got Super Kamehameha and Final Flash, and I'm not going to repeat myself again here. You guys know what my opinions are on using both of those attacks in the same fight. I vividly remember this guy because his strategy was Super Saiyan and then Warp, Evil Explosion, which I mean it can be a very good strategy to use, but this guy pretty much just spammed it and you'll see what happens to him. So I do notice that this guy is going to vanish after every few hits, so that's going to be good news for me. He vanished there, I predicted it, and go for the final blow because you need to put some disrespect on people when they do stuff like this. So I know he's going to vanish here when he has 2 bars of stamina, because of course he will. He'll want to try and get out of danger. So then I continue with the basic heavy combo, and when I sent him flying down, instead of using the basic rush volley, I go with the burst Kamehameha, but it doesn't even hit him, so I pretty much just wasted 2 bars of ki there. And out of habit here, when he turned Super Saiyan, I did break his guard by using the homing dash. Again, it wasn't really the most effective thing to do because he had pretty much no stamina anyway, but on the plus side, this guy's vanishing habits were very predictable, so I know I can just get him back down to no stamina if I need to. And as you can see here, he's just going to keep spamming Warp, Evil Explosion, so I do turn Super Saiyan 3, but my goal here really was to just try and perfect block each of his attacks because it's just good practice, and it just would have looked very nice if I did perfect block one of his Warp, Evil Explosions and hit him with the Dragon Fist, but you'll see what happens in a moment. So I'm thinking here now, okay, if he hits me once more with that, that's going to be enough to beat me, but it just sucks for him because he thinks he can get away with doing the maximum charge pretty much right in front of me, so that will give me more than enough time to dash up to him and hit him and finish him off with the Dragon Fist. It's like what I've said before, if you use Evil Explosion, expect to get fisted. Oh man. Alright, so the next fight, the guy picks hit, and you just saw there, he did a literal time skip. I noticed here that he vanishes after every few hits, no pun intended. So I scanned him here, and he's level 72, and I'm level 80, but my stats are terrible, and of course, if you couldn't tell already by the timer, this is a play match with no restrictions, which means items are allowed if you want to use them, I don't mind. So yeah, so as you just saw there, he went for the stamina reset, and I'm not sure if that was done on purpose or not, because as soon as he did it, he went to attack me, and it's like, well, I can easily counter this and just do a massive combo on you. Now, he gets his stamina recharge, and he vanished at the very end of the combo, which you should never do, because it's like, it's the end of the combo, you're going to only take a bit of damage on that final hit. I think it's worth taking that bit of damage instead of using 2 bars of stamina, so just keep that in mind. As you just saw, I went for the earth splitting Gun, but he completely failed. So I had a feeling he was going to panic vanish here, so as you just saw, I counter his attack, then I turn around and I use the earth splitting Gun, and I think it did hit him a bit, but for the most part he missed. So I go for Super Saiyan 2 here. I did think I actually had enough ki to use Super Saiyan 3. I was like just a hit away, no pun intended. Oh, kill me. I was just a hit away from getting enough ki to use Super Saiyan 3, so I just used Super Saiyan 2 because I haven't really used it that much. Now in the moment, and I don't know why I did this because there's just no point and it's going to harm me more than anything, I used the basic rush volley, and the super soul I have drains 100 points in my stamina for exchange to having very strong ki blasts. So really the only way now he'll be able to do any major damage to me would be if he got me in the time skip, and you just saw there he used it. I don't know if that was a misclick, but I just wasn't even anywhere near him, so I've pretty much won this fight by now. And I get a perfect block off, then I fist him really hard. But yeah, that's going to be enough to put this guy away. Super Saiyan 3 plus Dragon Fist looks very cool in my opinion. So with that being said, there are a few fights left in this video. I think the guy had a very interesting avatar. You'll see what I mean when it comes on. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching so far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.